And here we go. This city deserves a better class of criminal. I'm gonna give it to him. No! You'll see. I'll show you.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
So long before all of the Arkham games that we came to know and we came to love, someone had to take the bullets. EA's Batman Begins game had to crawl so the Arkham games could fly.
Batman's coming!
Apparently back in the 2000s in the PS2 and the PS3 era, Activision and EA had the superhero, had the intellectual properties on lock, because every game that I'm finding that I've never played that I'm interested in when it comes to like superhero games, at some point EA or Activision had their hands on it. And so it's astounding to me that this Dark Knight game that was canceled, to my surprise, as I was actually getting ready to do a Batman Begins video about that PS2 era game, since here the last few weeks we've been diving into some of the lesser known, at least for me, superhero games that was back on the PS2 and PS3 era, and I'm having a blast, and a lot of you are enjoying the videos as well. But as I was doing my research and doing my retrospective on the Batman Begins, I found out they had a game called The Dark Knight that was supposed to release as the movie released back in 2008, 2009, which is one of my favorite superhero film of all time, let alone Batman. This is gonna be a bitch to put back up there, by the way. So when I saw that, I literally went down a rabbit hole, and this entire video have shifted. Now, I know a lot of you probably was aware of this game, played this game. For me, and probably for a lot of other people, if the algorithm does its job, it's going to be brand new information, so please drop a like on the video. And yeah, Batman The Dark Knight video game was a canceled action stealth game for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 that was developed by Pandemic Studios. Now, that name, Pandemic Studios, may ring a lot of bells for a lot of Star Wars fans and beyond. Why? Pandemic Studio was an American video game developer based in Westwood, Los Angeles, by Andrew Goldman and Josh Resnick, founded the studio in 1998 after leaving Activision. What I tell you, Activision and EA had their fingerprints everywhere around this. They still do now to this day, but like back then, they had the game on fucking lock, bruh. So anyway, they made a lot of games that a lot of us played during our childhood, games like Battlezone, Dog Rain 2, Army of Men, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Star Wars Battlefront, Mercenaries, Destroy All Humans, shout out to THQ, even though that showcase they showed, terrible that we streamed, we didn't get Ninja Turtles, but I need to hear not there. Check out the VOD if you hadn't already. Star Wars Battlefront 2, Destroy All Humans 2, Mercenaries, The Lord of the Rings, The Saboteur. We're gonna get to The Saboteur in just a second. But they made some bangers, bro, so they was cooking up. So honestly, with that game mechanics and that studio's history, a lot of people would have been excited to see this Dark Knight game via Pandemic Studios. This is one of those movie games that they used to do back in the day when the actual film actors would do their voiceovers as well. So this is kind of one of those same things. So Gary Oldman and Christian Bale and Michael Caine, all of them was going to be back voicing their characters in the game as well. So the early prototypes of the game is going to be just like Batman Begins, just obviously just a better version. It's going to have the linear action game. Then later down the line, they decided to make an open world Gotham City game. Sounds familiar, right? Which someone can freely explore at their will, of course, as we know now. Batman could traverse on foot, drive the Batmobile or the Batpod, or glide through the air. The player could also perform missions. The Batman Dark Knight would have been the first open world Batman game preceding Batman Arkham City that came out in 2011. They had it, bro. They had it, and that shit just... That goes to show that it's all about the studio that gets the game, bro. It's all about the studio, because they had the premise, they had the thought, and just slipped right through their hand. So Elevation Partners came in, they bought the license for the Dark Knight. That was shortly after it was acquired by Warner Brothers Studios. And then, of course, they went out to outsource a dev team to actually make the game. So they had a team, they split it up into two. Half of the team worked on the racing game for the Wii, and the other half worked on the Batman The Dark Knight, which originally was intended to release on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. EA had the license to the Batman games for 18 months, and it would expire December 2008. So Pandemic began to produce the game before they was given any material about the film. The first prototypes of the game were created on PlayStation 2 because the studio had not yet decided which game engine The Dark Knight would use. Most of their effort went into designing the graphical styles and environments that would mimic the look and feel trailer of Batman Begins, one of Elevation's partners, co-founder, singer, and Batman fan Bono went to the studio that's got an early glimpse of the game, and of course he was a super casual, so he just saw Batman glide and was like, oh, fuck, it's lit. Went crazy, thought it looked great because I think he was just a big fan of the IP, and of course Bono was fucking huge at that time. So as the team in Australia continued their work on The Dark Knight, the other half of the team that was in Los Angeles had begun working on a new game engine called Odin, and that was the same engine that they used in the game called The Saboteur. Now, technically speaking, I'm an EA creator. I'm saying this because a few months ago, I was I was given access to play some of the old EA game, the EA classics, and one of those games was called The Saboteur. I had never heard of that game, and I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, this looked kind of fun. So if you've played Saboteur, if you know about Saboteur, if you think I should make a Saboteur video, please let me know. But from the gameplay that I've seen, this was going to be the engine and the play style and just the mechanics that the Dark Knight game was going to be in. And from what I've seen, especially back then, this could have been a banger. So Pandemic decided the open world approach would suit Nolan's interpretation of the Batman's world better than a linear one. By the end of 2007, the Batman Dark Knight's assets were being transferred over into Odin. However, that's when the shit hit the fan. This caused unforeseen technical problems and devastated development. Troubles began when Batman's model was imported. Attempts to control him caused the frame to drop, and attempt to control him caused the frames to drop to 5 FPS. Brother, that's horrible. And it gets even worse because the more people, the more characters they started to import into the game, the frames got even worse and caused many development kits to complete crash out. So of course, these problems was unexpected. Most of the staff didn't know what the hell to do, and they were supposed to have this game ready to release alongside the Dark Knight film that came out. Several of the team members said, fuck this, they quit. Shortly after this, EA acquired Elevation Partners and delayed Batman totally. So they say, you know what, we can't make it to come out when the movie comes out in theaters, so we're gonna delay it so we can coincide with the film's release on the DVD at home in December. So with them having the additional time that EA had granted them, they used this to make the game at least playable. Most of the frame rate pauses came from the game's lighting system, which had to be manually altered after a change was made to the environment. Other arose from the level design tools not being available for 6 months and the management making decisions that had to be reversed. Who would have fucking thought that the suits would have came in and said, hey, we want this and that, and not have a clue what that does to the game and how that can break the game. But hell as old as time, right? EA and Pandemic attempted to keep Batman the Dark Knight a secret, but Gary Oldman, Jim Gordon, revealed that the game was in development during an interview with G4. And this interview was kind of awkward too. The girl was kind of like, if I want, the girl was bad. But I don't know, check it out.
The video game, I saw a tiny little piece of it. They're trying to get it so that when he's gliding, that it's a sort of, there's a feeling in it that you've never really felt before, that the game doesn't stop and start. They're trying to build it in to the system, almost like watching the film.
Sure.
Yeah, she go, sure. You don't know what the fuck he talking about, bro. These days is the same thing. These actors and people that's working on the games, they have no idea how secret the game world is. So when they doing an interview, they just go, oh yeah, I worked on this game. Oh, I did music for this game, Spider-Man 2 or something like that. Oh, it's like just like with Candyman came out and said this shit about Spider-Man and Venom, and these actors have no idea. And it was the same way 15, 20 years ago, bro. They just go out there chatting, they don't give a fuck about other gamers, bro. They're just like, hey, I did this, and yeah. So after that, the YouTubers and the journalists jumped all over it. So once that happened and the fans realized there's going to be a Dark Knight game, as you can imagine, the hype would be fucking, just like now if they announce a new Batman game is underway, everybody will go crazy. So that put additional pressure on the team to get the game out even faster, which was the worst thing that could have happened. But good news is EA expanded the dev team and gave them definitely more help to try to get the game to release on time. But unfortunately, that was not enough to save the game, and EA canceled the game in October 2008. Mind you, it was supposed to drop in December 2008 too. Fucking shit show. And this right here, my boys, was the nail in the coffin. EA reportedly missed $100 million in potential revenue.
Has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
Too many of them. What are we going to do?
So the Brisbane, Australia branch was shut down shortly after the Batman Dark Knight fiasco. In February 2009, some of the staff moved to the Los Angeles office to finish The Saboteur. That studio was closed entirely in November the same year. After all of that, in November, EA cut a total of 1,500 jobs, which affected various studios, including Pandemic. And on November 17, EA officially confirmed that Pandemic's closure landed off 228 employees. The company absorbed 35 Pandemic employees and sent it to the EA Los Angeles studio to support The Saboteur, an unannounced project which was later revealed to be The Mercs, a sequel to the Mercenaries game. In response, 4 of the former employees created an Office Space style video where they were shown smashing their office printer.
Some got killed in the past, but this gangster here is a smart one. Started living for the Lord and I last. All I gotta say to you, gonna be pussy, cocksucking pranksters. When the shit jumps off, what the fuck you gonna do? Well, damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
It's such in correlation with the shit that's going on today and how sad it is, bro, that these game studios, these game execs come in, make these big dreams, give them very lack of resources, tell them to build me the world. You have this amount of time to do it because we want to make sure it comes out this, comes out that. And that's the business side of it. And I understand that shit costs money, but it's just like, bro, this is the route that I think we're going right now in 2024 with over 20,000 jobs being lost and cut. Game Informer just shut the fuck down. GameStop is probably shutting down by the end of the year. I mean, it's all going to be just AAA studios across the board. It's going to be here with live service bullshit, doing the Puppet Master thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's looking spooky out here for sure, though. Ends on a sour mood, but hey, listen, the Pandemic Studios, if they wouldn't have done the Batman Begins and attempted to do the Dark Knight, we may have never got the Arkham game series because they laid the foundation for everything that they was trying to do. Rocksteady did it, and they did it gloriously for those 3 Batman films, and it's all because Pandemic set the foundation, bro. So W in the chat for them, bro. Listen, if y'all like these retrospective videos, please drop a like on this one, share this one in the Discord with a friend on social media, whatever you want to do. And again, I know a lot of you know all of this shit, but for me, who was a super casual playing 1 or 2 games around this time, bro, this is all brand new information for me. I'm learning as I'm reading, as I'm telling y'all, so this is fucking awesome. Learning the history of gaming and the positivity and just the love and the passion. This is why I started this channel in the first fucking place. I saw myself going down a dark path of just becoming another YouTube grifter, clickbaiting the thumbnails, talking shit, being negative in every game, and that's not why I created this. There's enough negativity going around. I created this for passion and love vibes, bro. So that's what we back on. And if you fucking with that, welcome in, baby. I'll make no mistake.